today to help you get started on your down position. Just like with sit, we're going to cover our helping techniques as well as our sequencing. So for our down helping techniques, we can look at our position as the handler. We may want to be at our dog's side. We may want to be in front or halfway between the side and the front. We could do a food lure. If you're going to do a food lure for down, you want to make sure your food goes straight down as opposed to down and out. That's usually what will cause your dog to stand up and walk towards the food. So you want to go straight down, and then you could maybe move it forward or back if you needed to. We could also do a guide. So your guide for your down is going to be on your dog's shoulders, which is also referred to as their withers. And then we can also look at leash pressure. So really we've got the same helping techniques for sit, just a little bit variations because we're looking for a different position. Now our sequencing is going to be the same as well. So we are always looking at command, mark, release, reinforce. In the beginning you're going to have to help. So it would be give your verbal cue, immediately follow it with your helping technique, then you're going to go on with the rest of it. So it's going to be command, helping technique, mark the behavior, release your dog, use your treat, or if you're using a toy, to actually pull your dog off the position so they actually get up when you release them. So let's look specifically at some of those helping techniques. Now before we do that, it's very important to point out that for the majority of dogs, it's easier to do a down from a sit. So before you start your down training, you're going to want to make sure that your dog has a decent understanding of sit. Okay, so here we are with Rodko. He is on a sit position, so I'm just going to adjust to him. Right, we talked about handler position. I've never really asked him to do a down like this, so right, we're still working on his understanding of the verbal cue. Let's make it easy for him. Rodko, down. Good. Free. Good boy. Okay, did you guys notice my helping technique there? I adjusted to his side to get in good position to start with, and then when he didn't respond, I actually bent over a little bit. Again, that's about positioning. Sometimes we have a tendency to do that when we're unaware of it, and when we're unaware of what we're doing to help get our dog into position, it's going to be ultimately become part of the behavior for the dog. So we want to be completely aware of how we're presenting ourselves. Okay, let's try another one. Here, Rodko. Good boy. Sit. Good. Down. Good boy. Free. Nice. Okay, so that time, hey buddy, come here. I didn't need to actually give the extra help of the position that time. After doing a warm-up one, he got it. So just to review your helping technique of position, it can be at your dog's side, it can be in front, it could be a little bit of a bent over posture. All of these things are going to potentially help your dog or maybe even confuse them a little bit more. So for example, this would be a really awkward position for a dog just learning how to do a down behavior to command from. So get in a good position to help your dog. All right, let's go on to our food lure. So again, this is where you may want to consider your position. Is it going to be easier to do a food lure from your dog's side or from in front? So I think it's a little bit easier when you're first introducing it for your dog to be in front of you. Rodko, here. So going to get Rodko in front of me, and now I'm going to ask him to do his down and pair it with a food lure. Remember, verbals come first. Down. Good. Free. Good job, Rodko. Come here, buddy. Come on. Rodko, here. Good. All right, so that's our food lure. Notice I gave the help, and I stood up straight, and then I marked it. In the beginning, you may need to actually release your dog from down by the ground. If you need to do that, that's okay. Just make sure you're doing a little bit of a pause. So what that would look like is down, free. It's important when we release our dogs that we're not moving when we say our release word. Otherwise, they're going to be cueing off that movement as opposed to the actual word. So you want to have that little bit of a pause where there's no movement before you release them. All right, so that's our food lure. Let's look at our guide now. Right, come here. You're going to start from the sit position just like before, and the guide usually works best if you use the yoke of your hand. So that's going to be this part of your hand right here. Like we talked about with sit, we're not trying to force our dog into this position, we're just trying to give them a little bit of guidance here. So what we're going to do is, hand's going to go onto the shoulder when we do this. Just like before, we're going to give our command first. Down. Good. Free. Good boy. Now, you may need to wiggle back and forth. So, wiggle just like that. You don't want to slam your dog into the ground. We're not trying to do that. Come here, Mike. You want to make sure you are providing guidance. We're not trying to force this. So one more time on that guide. Radko, come here. Here. And if you're wondering what he's doing here, we've got a gentle leader on. He's still getting used to wearing it. It's only about his third time having it on, so he's doing pretty good with it, but he's still not 100% used to it yet. So that's what he's trying to do there. Radko, here. Okay, so we're going to give the command, followed by the help, mark, and release. Down. Good. Free. Good job. Good boy. Okay, so that's our guide. Just like with sit, if you don't feel comfortable about doing that, if you don't know where to push on your dog or to do that guide on your dog, then don't do it. But you want to be on their withers or their shoulders. Same body part on your dog. Don't push on your dog's neck. Don't push on your dog's back. Be gentle with that. All right, our fourth technique is going to be leash pressure. Now, if you're in a harness, leash pressure is probably going to be a little bit tricky to deal with. Same thing with the gentle leader, but we're going to give it a try. Generally, it does work best if you've got a training collar on your dog. And we do have plans to do a training equipment video coming up, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested in learning more about the different things you can clip your leash to. But for our leash pressure, for down, it's very important that we provide directional guidance. Our leash is always there to provide directional guidance in the beginning. So what you want to think about doing is feeding the slack out of your leash almost parallel to the floor. So it's just in front of you. And then with an open hand, you're going to push down on your, good boy, you're going to push down on your dog's leash clasp. And then as soon as they start moving into the position, you want to turn off that leash pressure and let them complete the behavior on their own. Free. Free, Radko. Radko, free. Free. Now, it's a good time to point out, we talked about in our sit video that you don't want to use your leash to pull your dog on your release word. He was a little bit distracted there, so I just had to go closer to the food. Always do that rather than pull on your leash. Okay, leash pressure for a down position. Good boy. Free. Okay, so I said down, he went into the position. We're working on an improved understanding of down, so I'm going to make sure I reinforce that. Let's try that again. Let me see if I can get that in without saying the word until it's time. Move his butt around here. Sit. Good. Slack out, open hand, down. Good. Free. Good boy. All right, guys, that's our video on down. I hope it helps you get started on the down position and helping your dog get to the point where you don't have to give that help anymore. Make sure you follow through with your sequence. Make sure your dog gets up when you release them. And look for our downstay video coming up next. Hope you have a great day, and as always, thanks for joining us.